This video is all about the LG Optimus 4X HD smartphone that was released in 2012. This was supposed to be LG's flagship model, and it features a quad-core Tegra 3 processor at 1.5 GHz. Also has a gig of RAM, 16 gigs of onboard storage. Is this good as they say? That's up to you. Let's just take a look at the thing itself first, to clean up the back because it was funky. As you can see, it has this really nice finish on the plastic. It's kind of riveted here. And it has a camera here on top. This is an 8 megapixel camera with LED flash. Here on the bottom we have nothing but the charge port. On the right hand side of the phone is absolutely nothing. On the left hand side we have volume rockers. Let me get that here. See? There's volume down and that's volume up, respectively. On top of the phone we have a 3.5mm audio jack and a lock screen power button. There we go. This is the actual lock screen of the LG Optimus 4X HD. Let's unlock it. Got a whole bunch of stuff here and apps on this phone. The screen has a resolution of 1280 by 720 pixels. So this is a 4.7-inch screen with a 720p resolution. That's quite a high pixel density of approximately, well, it should be about 300 pixels per inch. So LG has put their own skin on this thing, and you know, it's a matter of taste if you like it or not. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it, but you know, it works. So yeah, that's something I want to mention as well. This phone does not have any physical buttons. It has capacitive buttons here on the bottom for all of your various settings. Of course, as you're familiar with Android, is if you hold the lock button or the home button, you can just you know, multitask and go to different apps you've got open. So nothing new there. It's a pretty basic approach to the Android operating system. As you can see, it still uses the basic Android color scheme of white, blue, and black. That's pretty good. But as soon as you get into the app screens, you can see it's pretty much one cartoony mess, if you want to call it that. This is a quite different approach than Google does to their Nexus devices, that's for sure. But the phone itself, it is fast. You can really feel that you're working with a quad core here. I mean, apps open right away. Scrolling through lists is very smooth. For instance, so let's go to yeah, well, whatever, this last page I visited apparently. What's a really tough site to load? Whatever, let's just keep this. You can see a whole bunch of pictures here. Has some trouble refreshing everything, but it is smooth, as you can see. You can scroll through just fine. So that's all nice and quick. Now we can just open it up and just close it again. There we go. So the Tegra 3 itself is a pretty darn fast processor. Let me clear that. Frickin' WhatsApp spam. As I will demonstrate here with Temple Run 2, which is a good game to test capabilities. To prove how fast this Tegra 3 really is, I will just put it side by side in a small bit. Get that fixed. There we go. Temple Run 2 is loaded. It's pretty quick. So let's make a jump here. As you can see, no stuttering whatsoever, so gaming is just fine on this thing. One downside to this phone actually is the battery capacity. It's only a 2150 mAh battery, and this Tegra 3 really likes to drain that quite quickly. So, you know, it'll last you a day if you're not too heavy on 3G and gaming. But if you're really a heavy user, you might want to bring your charger to work or to school or wherever you want to take it. That's a downside to this phone and to Tegra 3 in general. I mean, this This system on a chip is also being used by Microsoft in their Surface RT, and you know something is gonna suck if you put a Tegra 3 in a tablet. So that's a really wrong approach by Microsoft. So I want to put this side by side with an iPhone 3GS, which only has a 320 by 480 screen. And this thing struggles. It really does. So let me get. Oh right, don't even have the game installed, and don't bother. But yeah, the biggest advantage to this phone is the Tegra 3 combined with the excellent screen. So it's a 720p screen, as I said, 4.7 inches. It's really crisp. The colors are excellent, and I absolutely love this screen. It's really, really good. And it's very bright too if you want to put it to max brightness. Downside, of course, battery drain. And I'm rambling on too much about the screen itself and not really about the performance of the phone. So I've shown you a Temple Run, and I've also ran Antutu before, and you know, on the stock LG ROM, it pretty much beats the Samsung Galaxy S2 by 50%, and it's also a little bit better than the Nexus 4. So that's not bad, but this thing really needs a different operating system. So people that are using Tegra 3 phones and are still running the LG stock ROM, get it off there. Just get CyanogenMod. It will really make this phone fly. Because this LG ROM is a little glitchy here and there. I can tell you that. So what do I really think of this phone? It is excellent. It's very fast. It looks nice. It's a pretty sturdy design too. Whoops. Let me disable that. And yeah, the downsides are really the battery, and the camera is not all that great either. I've tried to film with this thing before, and it was like pretty terrible. My Xperia Solar that I have over here as well. There we go. It has a much better camera. It focuses better, and it has a better light sensor. The light sensor in this thing is shit. That's the only thing that I really hate. Besides the LG stock ROM itself. But other than that, it's a really good phone. And if you can pick it up for cheap, I'd say just get it. This is better than any of the dual-core budget phones out there, and they can be picked up pretty cheaply. They do have one big problem. That's some little spots between the screen and the digitizer. But that's not really all that, I'd say, problematic. So, in the end, would I recommend this phone to anyone that's moving to Android for the first time or still on a really old phone over, let's say, dual-core smartphones that are like same price as this thing is second-hand? You know, I'd get this thing second-hand over any dual-core new smartphone. I can tell you that. If you get this thing in good shape, so no real scratching and no digitizer problems, then definitely get this one. It's a good phone, and I really recommend it to people who want performance for a low price. New, they're pretty expensive and not really worth it, but if you can pick it up second hand for like, I don't know, 150 euros, so about 200 to 250 bucks, get it, definitely. So that concludes my video on the LG Optimus 4X HD smartphone. Hope you enjoyed this video somewhat and found it somewhat helpful, and I thank you all for watching.